Okay, so in this session, I will be explaining about Java database connectivity, and we call as this one as JDBC. Okay, so JDBC, that is the concept which is required to talk to your Java application to database. Okay, so in this topic, what we are going to cover, we will cover basic concept of database. Okay, why do we need JDBC? So the answer of this is, why do we need JDBC? Because your Java application is required to fulfill some kind of solution or real time problem where you need to store some information. You can say that you need to persist some information, and when needed you need to retrieve that information. Okay, so you can think of any project or product where you need to store or need to retrieve the information based on the need. So JDBC provides one concept which is useful when you want your application to talk to database. Okay, then we will talk about step of database connection, then API walkthrough. Java provides a lot of API, or you can say libraries like connection statement, result set, etc. We will talk about that. DDL and DML actions by Java. Okay, so DDL and DML, those are kind of activities which are performed on database. That is data definition language and data manipulation language. So when you try to do some activities on database object, then you need to use DDL. And when you want to do some data writing or reading or updating or deleting, that time yeah, DML will be used. Okay, and then we will talk about optimizing the concepts. Okay, so let's move ahead. Basic DB concepts. Uh, I hear while explaining this slide, I assume that learner doesn't have idea of database. Okay, so database is there are database. You can say that there is something called um, RDMS. Okay, so database is a set of tables. Okay, where you have a lot of tables, and each table will have that data will be stored in the tabular form. So when I say tabular form, it will be stored in some table. So in table we have rows and columns. Okay, and every table will have some primary key, or when you're trying to do some when you have multiple tables and you want to have some relationship between among those tables, then you can go for foreign key. And table we use, when we create the table we have indexes on those columns, some columns, one or two columns or more columns, based on the need. You can create the indexes on one column or more column. Indexes are required when you are trying to look for some data into from the table, and you are doing very frequent searching. So applying the index uh, will increase the performance of your searching. So searching will be faster if you apply the indexes. Then we will see some example of creating the table, updating, deleting data from the database. Okay. So in this session, I'm going to use database called MySQL. Okay. Uh, I will show you how to create the database and how to create the tables, columns. So few basic concepts. Okay. Let's go to the MySQL. So here I'm going to MySQL. I'm typing MySQL command line. I hope it is very much visible. Let me increase increase the size. Okay. Okay. So once I open it, I will see my SQL prompt. Here there is command called show database, show databases. Here it will tell that if there is any existing database. So there are information schema, dog to MySQL, performance schema, schema. There are few databases. So here I will be creating a new database. So you need to have a database. Okay, database will have set of tables and few other objects in database. So data will once I create the database, I can have tables in that. I can have other database objects like indexes, sequences, store procedure, functions. Okay, so I'm not going to that much detail. I will be explaining about very much basics about content in database. So let's create one database. So I say create database test JDBC. Okay, so database is created. So if you say so databases, so I have created test JDBC. You can see here there is test JDBC created in the below. Okay, right. So once database has been created, we have to use this database because there are a lot of database. So we have to use this database. So I can say use test JDBC. Okay, so database is changed. Now you have test JDBC which is actively available, and you can start working on that. Okay, so let's create one small table. Let's create table called employee. Create table. The syntax of creating the table is create table, table name. So I will say employee. Then you can give the data type. So I will give here data type is simple data types. So in Java, suppose you have a employee class, so it has few attributes. So here attribute is nothing but column, and object class name. If you say employee here, that will be mapped to a table name that is called employee here. So I will give number. Let's give integer, and name. Name is the another column that I will say varchar 2. Let's give size of say 255. Then we have salary. Salary is number. Okay, then we have right. Let's have only this much. There is some problem.